Nice cattail there, lady. I am the plague angel pestilence. I may decimate your world if you ask. I must pass. As a sphinx, you know there is only one answer correct to my question, or I will punish you. I can mirror strength or make you fight yourself. Don't take the fighting route, she said in the stupid voice of those taking it. If you stride twice as fast as quick diagonally, but were supposed to go east, how much time did you save as you merge your path? Oh gosh, it's an intelligence question, thank God I have a brain. If it's twice as fast, the grounds gained, the time saved must be half of the completely correct trajectory at 45 degrees. If 3 times as fast, it will merge the same. You're skipping a lot. Are you sure this is the right answer? The pestilent really looked like a promise of destruction, green on stone wings, 10 stone thick hairs back and eyes empty, white and scarred. I am confident. It is correct. Consider sparing us as I ask the opposite of what the next will. I will consider. You're right, proper as we say in England, and you have to be. The Sphinx changed into a dark voice of honesty, dropped like a first layer of tolerance. The tempest will come, so try as you may. James was sucked aggressively into the next slide and came ass first onto his knees. For Alec Dight. A red bald orc with steel teeth, chiseled exterior and huge armor came aggressively charging. Before James could think, he was grappled around the waist and savaged into the wall. James smacked him so hard with his long forearm he was stunned, and James grabbed him around the waist, did a rocket boost with his 5 feet into a 180-degree arch, landing on the orc's head. Revenge. The orc hewed an axe into hither direction, but James backed away, then double-kicked him in the face in a spinning jump. Before the orc could stabilize, he drop-kicked him in the chest for Thunder God Brega. The room was different elevations of steel and ice, making for a good chasing hit and tag room, James thought after seeing it professionally. The orc Steelface the second came charging with a spear. James put his sideways foot above it into the ground and kicked him with Stylo's arcane shockwaves. It broke his steel teeth. James started pelting Steelface with throwing weapons to the grievously whirlwind. Get that barbarian garbage out of here. He imbibed a Colossus strength potion, making sure he would win any exchange. Fine. James pulled his katana, elongating it with red-black lightning. First he sliced off his hand, then spun and sliced off his forearm. Steroid Hurricane. AARRG, he squirted blood into James' eyes, then made a strike James was happy to have dodged. James sliced him twice in the stomach with his
Orc Steelface original the 7th. Get from the Johansson Hurricane.
AARRG, he squirted blood into James' eyes, then made a strike James was happy to have dodged. James sliced him twice in the stomach. AARRG, he squirted blood into James' eyes, then made a strike James was happy to have dodged. James sliced him twice in the stomach with his range, and then with speed technique sliced through his axe and upper body, leaving 2 Steelface. You expect me to die? I expect you to talk annoyingly. This knowledge from the ancient barbs won't be what you expect. From the barbarian temple back again emanated voices and colors. You shall see the world with the wisdom of 10,000 lives. An old white double-chinned barbarian, ancient old, spoke through his face wrinkles yet bodybuilder chest. You shall travel on the path of the wise. Ancient will be your speech, spiritual your life. You shall not miss an event or make mistakes that need much correction. Evolve and turn into peaceful, pure, pristine energy. You have been given the most important help of all, and when energy, you will also be allowed a new luxury purpose if not learned enough. James interpreted spiritual action outside easily, loudly, as if there were giant bunnies. As James exited the room, he came onto a giant slope. It was wide and with unfathomable depth below. He slid like with fire magic and steered with his metallic weapons. The slopes went in circles down and into corridors of the wall. Shorter, more dangerous directions were presented. James realized late that he needed speed to cross the last segment, to fly to the exit. He slid as a penguin explosive and flailed around in the air. 30 meters. Barely he reached the end, nailing the katana into the ice cliff with the exit. Outside there were indeed giant bunnies. I empower you rabbits, use your hoppity legs thus. A band of giant rabbits had been fighting crane-necked polar bears. A bear jumped, clawing a poor fluffy bunny. The bunny jumped too and kicked the bear in the chest, with impact magic and a bang, thus the bear flew far. Bunnies sometimes jump kick even in real life. The bunnies came onto James, licking, smelling and inspecting. 10 bunnies were carrying a sleigh with a man and a ton of stuff. A covered traveler came and shook his hand. They only take for those attuned to nature. I'm Benny, merchant and attorney. They only drink the finest brandy or maybe some higher alcohol wizard's misspelling, if really thirsty. The cloak revealed a blue body with shining light blue eyes, shining of a lighter color hieroglyphs on his forehead. I come from the ruins. This dungeon gave me the most important thing I didn't know I needed. I feel wise like a guided spirit. I see them eat hamburgers sometimes also, but not other meats. Strange credulity. I feel like I can relate to being a giant bunny somehow. You can ride the sleigh or a bunny formidable. I'm going to Solga Docks. You know, the biggest city to the Arctic Sea of the Einhenja North Pole. James mounted a bunny and held into its sleigh leather contraption. The bunnies went off like a rocket.
And I was like, a university we learn magic at the edge of the Arctic. And I wrote all this shit based on that. What a good idea.
The bunnies went off like a rocket. WOOHOOO, this is awesome. Later entering Solga Docks. I got to get myself a ride like this. Look inside the docks in it, said the nice merchant. Looks like the ice melted here, into sea. The city was snowy and frozen, many red and green wooden buildings and massive icy rebreaker ships of almost every color. Parts of the city were only accessible by boat, some water streets were small, some large, some islands. He could see the mount shop from the icy gates. Indeed, they had giant bunnies and compact mammoths, giant curve-horned yaks and white gorilla steroid yetis pulling with giant steps. A bunny-eared elf with a lisp offered a spell that lets you talk to animals somewhat well but drained your mana a lot, and a blizzard's bite spell that cooled down bunnies in warmer climates. But they're cool about the winter. No, everyone freezes here. Every animal in snowstorms realizes eventually that this place is just awful and pointless, so they seek out warmer climates. Especially the yaks. James bought the lot, bunny food, and one bunny, thus went to choose one outside. Who wants to travel around the world, he said. Some bunnies jumped close. Is it safe? That isn't safe, they said. As he touched a white bunny with a bit of a mane of fat-looking royal, it jumped 3 meters into the air. Pick me, I don't mind traveling and it never goes as planned anyway. Let's be friends, said James and gave some giant peppers, blackcurrant pie and cowberry redcurrant pie. Goodbye, gang, said the bunny. Due to the spell, the voice was heard inside his head. He felt an urgency in the voice, a bunny urgency to be alert and safe. Like stress to be afraid. He guided the bunny in leather straps. Did you know I'm a very smart human? Super smart, top 0.1%, James said randomly. Wow, said the bunny, I am very hungry. I want one more pepper. James agreed reasonably and pat his head. I had actually a rabbit before we got separated by a spell. A tiny cousin rabbit, white like myself. Dog-sized rabbit, brown and tolerant, interested in the new and other animals. I don't mind many things, being so strong and big. With me you can feel safe. The best thing I know is to feel safe and not have to think about being eaten and blood. The bunny James thought was complicated, vulnerable yet valuable, and something of an attorney personality. I wish I could fly, said the bunny, like a bunny and unrealistic. You can fly in your dreams, means your spirit is lifted. Where I come from we have a saying, multiply like rabbits. I am not very good at math. What do you think of these tomatoes? Should I buy these? The bunny ate the tomatoes. He was red like blood around his face. Service fee, maybe I'm a killer rabbit. Maybe you shoot lasers, said James. He hopped around on the rabbit and visited the library of Solga. It was grand, of several stories and winding staircases, gold and silver staircases, the railings. He remarked history and philosophy, culture of their sea trade and He remarked history and philosophy, culture of their sea trade and University of Magic. He read some philosophy in a book about not acting and not taking part to not suffer, but thought it was about not living. Avoiding suffering through philosophical isn't always the ultimate goal or practical, but James would be stimulated in the future figuring out how to stop it. You can always stop suffering by changing your perspective, said James to the giant bunny face, solid and speechless like a rock, mind over matter. Even the worst things you can give a purpose. You can also be conscious about suffering until it ends. They rode on to the university. It was dark blue and looked like made of ice. It was built in many six-pointed ice crystals. I invented the six-point goat, argued one wizard. What have you unleashed? Argued the other. What's a six-point goat? Said James. This mangy wizard here invented a goat with an explosive ramming. It will destroy the entire block. I agree with the mangy wizard. He invented it. Your goats have no lasting impact if they destroy everything thus and double thus. I can make more goats, but it's making me bald. Your excessive use of goat in your magic is making you bald. You said my bald head looked good. That's why I started oiling it with bowling grease. Yeah, your head shines like a shooting star, said James. He's balding because he gets no maidens, said the wizard with luxurious hair. If you're balding, you should get a fashionable hat and beard, said James. There cannot be a goat without explosions. Don't you see? He didn't make any sense. James saw someone like they were driving an invisible car 2 meters up, but ass pointed out and backwards driving. He pulled the handbrake and drove away. Was that vehicle invisible? No, you drive ass first with butt magic. I find it unbelievable. You butt deniers want us all prosecuted, the wizard said in the same wavelength. Look, I have perfect buttocks. The wizards calmed down, looked and agreed with irrefutable logical fiber. Inside an impossibly large castle on the sea, mostly he asked for what magic? There is conjuration, butt magic, water, air, earth, fire, necromancy, summon alive, summon undead, impact, blood, healing. It's all boring reading, mana increasing rituals and lessons. Said an old monotone bored ugly clerk with a wide luxury desk. Butt magic, do you teach one of the unholy strikes here? No one has applied or succeeded in that butt magic for 200 years. No one should be that powerful in my opinion. I can fart my rabbit out of the room if I eat whey protein powder. Potential, that is, but I wasn't finished. We also have holy and questionably unholy and defense against unholy and dark magic. Practical magic for productivity, easy magic that makes you feel smart, turning yourself into something magic TYS, turning some potential, that is, but I wasn't finished. We also have holy and questionably unholy and defense against unholy and dark magic. Practical magic for productivity, easy magic that makes you feel smart.
Here's another one. The dark magic Solgarn allows
potential, that is, but I wasn't finished. We also have holy and questionably unholy and defense against unholy and dark magic. Practical magic for productivity, easy magic that makes you feel smart, turning yourself into something magic TYS, turning something into something else magic TSSE, tier 13 ridiculously, ludicrous difficult magic. Magical crafting and fletching, magical potions, elven crystal singing, interdimensional magic, elven magic from Solga, alchemy, best magic for a contemporary jobs, magic to break someone's concentration, study of magical creatures, Sears foggy advancement, magical history. Magical produce farming gardening, intersectional spirituality magic, battle cry, shout and voice magic, professional explosive magic and just blowing things up magic. Magic in writing, poetry and music, very difficult that. Getting stabbed in the shin magic. Shape-shifting magic, magical curses, transmutation magic, double unicorn magic, magical bullshit and defense and magic. Air, fire, earth and water magic together is 20% off as usual, 2,640 quid. Elven potions and crystal singing 30% together, explosive and double unicorn magic 30% off, other lessons 850 quid each, 12 lessons usually. I summon magically deep pockets. Maybe you're thinking about alchemy. You know they never make more money making gold than they put in. The real gold lies in transmutation magic. This is where you get dollar, I guess. You invest in yourself and your skills. Talk is cheap that it cannot afford university lessons, the clerk said, bored and monotone. James pulled out a 100.000 shimmering ingot. Keep it as a deposit until I'm done. I don't want to think about money. I didn't invent the world, pal, or Ahenger, the clerk said like a smoker. When you put a price on knowledge, people learn economics, James said with 145 IQ. Let's start with fire magic, James mostly exclaimed to himself. Remember, Ahenger is a lawless land. There is no police or jail. You will have to fight for your things. Just like the capitalists want it, every service and tax is unnecessary. It's not so bad when we have guys like the coolie-leaning guy over there. He executes and hunts top criminals, the vision of horror, prophet of despair. James walked and was ready to talk the talk. Hey, how are you doing, Sonny? You look like an angel mixed with a street fighter. His crown of despair hovered over his head like halo, hummed like a vacuum cleaner. Things are going well for me, he said unexpectedly. The drug lords aren't being replaced and the gangs are breaking. I like hunting criminals too. Maybe I am a mercenary for hire. Let's consider fighting together, unholy man. If you didn't look like this, I would have stabbed you with a mongrel's Mongolian paternal leave more. I know of the unholy strike. They teach one here. Can you learn it? Honestly, I will try my best. This technique is auxiliary. I don't judge a man by his farts. He was shredded topless with a grey angel-looking haircut and array of weapons. Light grey skin, burning grey wings, red eyes. 2 big pants making him look part rapper technically. In fire magic arrogantly advanced Firefly course, they stood in front of a short fat big-headed grin with a large remarkable nose. He was short-tempered and stupid about lots many modern chivalrous things but surprisingly cunning. Smart to work less, Ulrich had the perfect grin of business. The perfect fireball should be deadly in explosion and fire over time. Practice with me until it changes color. Eat these capsaicin pills. If you snort them, they can get rid of migraines. A cheeky squirrel-looking lady, well human look first, but still remarkably squirrel, already made a blue-purple fireball, as hot as it gets 30,000 Kelvin plus. Most were red to yellow 3,000, 6,000 K. James tried and tried getting his fireballs white 10,000 K. If he didn't do it now, he would before fire lessons were over. You need to be like the blackest, most smoldering lava lake, Squirrel said. James was conjuring hotter fireballs, maybe he thought. Good job, student, said Ulrich from beneath, hot like a pie oven. James felt full of power, compliments and spirit overtaken in almost not his control. He glued genius orange body and eyes and unleashed lightning white red strange and thick. The dummy melted and happily returned. Wow, this is quark gluon plasma, 150,000 Kelvin. Another form of fire class, I must tell the principal. Turns out James could channel fire.
I could write after the dummy melted happily and returned. Once more, the Siths are rule the galaxy. Oh no, I'm a Sith, I could say as well.
Turns out James could channel fire and power like a particle accelerator experiment. Now to figure out how to do it again. Chaos and random was at the tip of his fingers. James met a superhero for the first time, Pigeon Man. I was born to fight crime in this lawless land, tooth and claw. You have superpowers, James said fair. I have wings, I can fly. He flapped his wings. Yeah, you really look like a pigeon. I also make beer. He put his foot on a bag of barley, drink pigeon. Chapter 4 Beget, Beget. In the stabbing magic class, James followed the 5 piercing truths and from a magical half-breed elf mercenary. He did more than shank, he believed in the book of stabbing. Stabbing into someone's liver is something to consider because... Crash, asterisk, the window broke. A French assassin stood bent upon the window's lit. He was smoking unfiltered primitive cigarettes, wore a black suit and his face looked very rugged and attractive to women with thick brown hair. Which one is James? Could be me, said a fat kid with a dragon t-shirt. No, it's me, said James. I'm sorry someone sent me to kill you. I'm thinking about the money already, he said too honestly in a thick French accent. He pulled a baguette out of his belt and whacked it menacingly. Firm hand, strong baguette. Take it outside, James, don't kill my new cactus, said the teacher Cerveza Crystal. James jumped into him and out the window 2 stories below and landed on the Frenchman. You're lucky you landed on me, he said like he was talking to someone stupid. They spun and wrestled with
Och så började den Cerveza Crystal. Heineken Strong Lager.
They spun and wrestled with daggers until the Frenchman threw him upright. Aromatic chocolate bombs. The assassin threw pano chocolate that exploded, removing James' eyebrows.
They're a better name than aromatic chocolate bombs. Bombs Humphrey non-baguette.
The assassin threw pano chocolate that exploded, removing James' eyebrows. James only had a throwing hammer rebound with him. They screamed and went clashing epically. What would he do with a baguette despite being delicious?
It smelled like Barry's jasmine.
They collided, Warhammer and baguette clad in absolute unit, so the baguette was hard as any steel, acting like a cudgel of winding steel drive. The assassin with the same position struck him, moving through gliding with arrogant power. In 1 second James was flying, thus surprisingly like he was outschooled. But we'll see, it's just the start of the fight, writer's edit. James turned and shot his plasma cannon, but the assassin was fast enough for his neck. He puffed smoke behind him, thus. I need to stop smoking. It's making me nauseous and sick, thin and weak like a French sardine in coffee mixer. Your hair is on fire. The Frenchman applied more Dapadan gel to his hair, creating a smoky smell and putting out the fire. Your baguette has reached its length. And it will be bad for you, baguette length termination. He made a devastating explosive punch that spawned 100 baguettes like a fountain in the punch direction. And Baguette Glacier Arnaud summoned a 10 by 10 meter quarter baguette that knocked him away. His baguette elongated into a 2 meter long rye baton. Tomato barbecue baguette is a lie. He twacked in an assault, one end at a time, gracious and dancing Frenchly and quite aggressively. Tomato barbecue baguette is supposed to be a one-time new experience, that's why it's so salty. James deflected with truth.
Cut. Insert. It didn't save me any time.
Tomato barbecue baguette is supposed to be a one-time new experience, that's why it's so salty. James deflected with truth, strafing back, sacrificing position for defense. Heavy baguette, imaginary baguette, sparkling baguette, shadow baguette, dire baguette, illusory baguette, ardent baguette. James was completely busy defending the assault. Usually attacks bounced off him like he had a power belly. Paris baguette, the Frenchman power twacked, echoing, knocking James back 8 meters like hit by a thundermaul. James was wondering, what was he doing on his back, having dug up the ground? James threw a circular hammer, but he blocked with a raspberry tart. Arnaud threw a fast to rise baguette, but James caught it. Mockingly he ripped a bit and put into his mouth. C4 baguette. James' face exploded. James wasn't pleased, and when he got his hammer again he threw it like a Sioux, mal-hungry, into his chest. The Frenchman landed on his buttocks and his cigarette flew. You don't need that. I should not smoke at work, he said, generously accented. French steroid and Olympic dominator, la roule. His arms glue, got bigger and light red with bloodfire. He came expecting James to face it. Hunger slap, ravenous hunger. James.
arrogant power. Beast, Bloodfire.
James slapped him like a bear and outranged him. It beat his attack, knocking him 3 meters left at a sharp angle like getting hit by a London double-decker. James uprooted the only tree nearby and swung against his double baguette. It was an even match. Blows were parried skillfully, minding footwork and by-the-book baguette defense. The Frenchman had rhythm and danced the dance of baguettes. Die, Mr. Norwegian or whatever, silly man, don't make blow this place away. And I want your robot arm that looks really cool. I object completely to this assassination, and thus, there must be a way a court can stop this. You could file a police report. No, they didn't exist here. Look, if you give me some cash, I can tell them you were hit off a cliff and probably died. It's a hard world for a man with stuff. Let me have a whiff of that cigarette you're lighting. James planted the tree and they sat down, exchanging dwarf coins. 450 quid. Okay, you are definitely off the cliff. Who sent you? He was hooded but had this ridiculous stuffy Spanish accent. You know, I only do this to have work and also the money. I like to imagine people don't mind getting killed in business. You know, like, I'm not bloodthirsty or anything. I don't kill women unless they're big fighters. What do you think about safer jobs here, mate? I think I manage myself fine in Ahenja. Only one guy I ran from. He was a huge red orc man. I told them I killed him. They never checked I got paid AA. Then he ransacked their village. No witnesses. He raised his hand for a high five. Smack. Free money, James said. I could do with more friends. I have a giant bunny and I drink anything you throw at me. James. Sure, whatever. You can hit me up, homeboy, as I finish up magical curses. Fuck. Do you fight with something else than baguettes? Yes, I also have these breadsticks. People can't get enough. What, are you serious? Do you go to the school here? Yes, they call me Arnaud. Thus, he shaked his hand, pronouncing his name with a cigarette in his mouth. Arnaud talked James into magical curses where they had weakness, weaken, suffer, which was a form of weaken, and weaken weapons. Yes, you can still do curses and be a decent person, said a balding white-haired sorcerer in red-purple robes with adventurous eyes. It is a means to an end. In the first book we have amplify damage, reduce resistance to magic, reduce resistance to elements, and quicken bleeding, which also makes them use more energy. We shall also practice making their swords burn, sluggish snail arms with cursed feet, and Seer's mind grab. We're just going to do the mind entering part, which is illusory, weakening, and confusing. James was proficient at Seer's mind grab just as he was spiritual. Reducing resist would make him overcome immune enemies, so he practiced keenly. I have a contract, James. Someone at the school, Ass-Cheek Albert, gave me his money just to maim and take this guy's stuff, man. Goat Sheffy Earlobe. He's poor, weak, and without defense. What do you say to taking Albert's stuff then? I will give this boy Mr. Earlobe something as well. Ass-Cheek Hall Enteth. Hey Arnaud, did you take his stuff? It's a free country. Arnaud went up and smacked him silly 5 times with his locker and kicked him in the nuts professionally, into the ceiling. Tall Ass-Cheek Albert said, You're not serious, a bleeding heart-conscious assassin. We spell it ass-assassin in French. I am passionate. Albert pulled out a scroll that Arnaud cleft and hit him grievously with a baguette. Your baguette is weak, said James, menacing. In the end they took his stuff and buried him, legs sticking up hairy, in the garden. He has magical shrines and collected scrolls. One-timers is something getting used to. They gave the cash to Goat Sheffy Earlobe. Goat Sheffy barhead like a goat, thus unintelligible. Arnaud visited his mercenary friend Von Vague and wife Von Valorant. In the hospital he had fought his last contract. He had taken a troll twice his size, Alpha, and wasn't even stupid. Wow, lady, Yepsidoodle, remember when I asked if you had a sister? They think nothing will wake him up now, sniff. Nothing. Arnaud went to his bed. Come on bro, you gotta lock in. You said this wasn't going to be the last as long as the locating baguette to Buxrich isn't found. Lock in. As Arnaud said lock in and shook his shoulders, Vague rose quickly and military. He looked ready for orders and breathed brutally through his nostrils. If you passed away, my life would be lifeless and grey. He went on to live another 47 years. James took the weekend to get back to Arkspire and found Toadsburg being very uncomfortable with all the animals and people. I will finish my training. You can have a lesson in the jewel rooms right now. Enteth Jewel Room. Elemental Adapting Absolute Unit or Elemental Spirit is a way to adapt to your elements. It's earth magic. I will cut you and insert an evergrowth seedling in your stomach. James got over the cut as quickly as his lunch. Focus on your resilience, eternal like the stars, cosmic, and grow into a sentinel. James and Toadsburg grew into an exoskeleton that looked like mahogany wood. Like a smooth tree ant, his face was rund, gleaming, chest and shoulders sleek and fashionable. Faceless, expert and alien he was. Eternal seed of growing and growing through you are. Very resilient against ice, water, cold, earth, heat and air. Also this tree doesn't catch on fire. You will find you need less energy, water and oxygen like this. Practice with me. Once you get really good you can turn into a fire, water or air elemental shortly, completely and absorb the element. Live longer as long as you are an elemental. Without complaining they soundlessly practiced until after 2 days he was going to go back to university. He saw someone getting backstabbed by a baguette and somehow steal multiple wallets at the same time. Let's eat some of this dwarven earthy food. Ah no. It's on me, this dwarf is rich and behind on payments. Dwarven fine restaurants had exclusive bread and butters that were very comfortable eating and easy to eat continuously, carrot and a vegetable that only grew here, dwarven artichoke, into soup. Wine testing and wine pairing followed. James thought the wines were unimpressive for the cost, but fit the food well. Small birds and mashed potatoes main course, then it was crackers and cheese. This was something exceptional that they were sad it would eventually stop, so they agreed with the luxurious servitor, who had the most luxurious silver rings, rectangles and bracelets in his dwarf beard. They bought another round of just crackers and cheese. That is a delicious yogurty blue cheese. Inspired by my boss's salary, said the dwarf. Rye is disgusting unless it has cheese wedge on it. Ah no. Back at university James was learning alchemy. Something that interested him was to make bombs. First idea, super poisonous or flammable gas bombs that cover all enemies, then he would protect himself in absolute unit and detonate. Stun bombs, he didn't alter his enemies' senses often, he thought strategically. After grinding and reading he figured out a custom way to make impact grenades, knocking people off like trampolines. He called them blueberries. The book recommended making adamant silver bombs that addled mages' magical abilities, or poisoned dragon glass also works but can be cured with black gull if prepared. It said some asshole always is. Flash adamant bombs to blind. If the dragon can do...
If I ever share this book too much, I can say, if a streamer writes a book, he should have it to stream.
Flash adamant bombs to blind. If the dragon can do magic, its intestines or half-giant liver can be used to make bombs that blinds you and instills fear for 10 minutes even if you did not look at it, like an error in your brain.
It might not work out for me, maybe, not that I'm so random and like a feeler want to share my book. It's usually like I work out, a long hard day of streaming and working out, I'm like, you know what would feel nice right now? I say like I'm sharing a Game Boy game, you know, I just wanna share my book. But at least I'm rewriting it. It's literally turning perfect, right? Some places, definitely.
Scarecrow, he named this thus. He found half-giant's liver in a book.
I am top 1% in language ability, says every IQ test I've done, even when I had only 10 points less. But even better at rewriting. If we have a school project together, let me rewrite everything, you know.
He found half-giant's liver in a butcher shop, magical shop, and went home crafting bombs like a dirty inventor. James' genius went speedy as he built and put too many books and ingredients in cluttered space. Experiment, separate, combine, possibilities and theory. James took a stove and turned into a chemical station.
What do you think so far?
Glass blew a chemistry set he knew from chemistry and some own ideas for sizes. He tasted, tinkered and thought like a processor about mathematics. Sometimes his thinking was indistinguishable from a cyborg hitting the ones and zeros.
Too much.
If it was something you would feel, it would make you feel scared like looking at an alien. Eventually he came across a functional bomb that blinded, instilled fear, chemically burned that could not be stopped with water, stunned and slowed your movement and reduced your resistance against elements. James realized at the same time slowing with water, ice magic and shooting with his plasma cannon would be a good combo. Being a lone wolf thinker lets you pursue inventing and science freely. Motivated like there were enough people, and you spent enough time. The introverted intensity for introverts is just this, the speed they should work on long experiments. Being 160 IQ makes you pursue inventing much longer than 140 IQ. The sun seemed like a morning ritual familiar as James peeked out of his dormitory sooty. He held a giant hand to his eyes as the sun covered half his vision. There was a deer with heart-shaped antlers together. It chewed on the tundra and wondered what was this human up to during this morning already. James threw an explosive bomb. The deer flew like a ragdoll. God, I'm such a good hunter. We have heard you have good stuff, Kerr, and Red Orc said deep like a demon. Just a minute ago, we inspected you. Forget fighting orcs, pay the laws of Ahenja. I'm going to give you something to run away from, like a scientist. James. An orc came with polearm ready to dodge. James, like the undead, breathed frost, chilling the orc to an icicle, then shot his head off with the plasma cannon. Run away hither, tactical run away, best criminal for himself. They scattered and would maybe tell their friends this was not an easy target in the future. What would James do when the plasma cannon ran out of battery? Toss his robot arm and return to the medieval yet quite magical times. He needed to make a battery, and he would crank it manually. James swept inside. He needed zinc, copper, lithium. He dismantled things small and large and outfitted his robot arm on the outside. In addition, one large cracking arm like on an old car. Third good idea, he made a lithium overload battery larger than he would crank and try to charge with lightning magic. Enter magical bullshit and defense. Are you vulnerable to your senses pupils? What if I stunned you, swept your memory with my tea and stirred it into an antidote too hot to drink? The teacher Ignatius looked clever and was cunning. He had expertise and thought at least enough to be a step ahead. Long jawlines on a pale face with dirty wet-looking hair to his face cheeks. He dressed close-fitting in mostly black and dark green. All through it can make you feel thick and uninterested sometimes.
How about purple? It can't just be a random color, and suit needs to be something, you know?
All through it can make you feel thick and uninterested sometimes. There are potions you can drink to increase your stun resistance. 3 months per potion. Build up the resistance. It's got the same half-life as coffee, he said interestingly a bit to himself. This class supplies you with 2 free potions, 1 long-term and 1 for the intense day. One funny side effect is that you tend to shave your hamster insanely. Yes, I know you get free hamsters from Jin's classes. Stuns are strategic of your born mind limitations, just like pulling wool over your eyes. It is common. The school makes some affordable potions. Students learn to make them and students drink them. Profit free for you. You want to write down every mind and senses alter way your opponent can beat you. James mentioned his bombs and everything it beats, kind of like an inventor. I see you have stepped in the same thought. Class, now we are going to practice mind-altering resistance, like probing, illusion and insanity. Test your minds for fun. Some minds are strong, and for surprising reasons. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you're stable. The teacher put on a dangerous smile. Resist the temptation, use your willpower, never break your attention span into the curious and dangerous. He smashed the overly bottom-thick purple vial in the center of the room. Gather round now in it, he said vaguely as the situation didn't require more. James felt the pull of something he knew he should not engage with. Eventually headlocked, he resisted. I think you're not stable enough because you haven't been treated human in life. Shame, James. You're an excellent student, they say. James held on. This challenge didn't need a stable house. I see Jacques has thought. What happens if I give in into the intriguing unknown? Jacques was pulled in double quick and exploded into the corner of the room upside down. Your curiosity will kill the cat here, or more like a shaved hamster really, running into the nitroglycerine. Boom goes the dynamite. Everyone else passed, although you evil and you are sliding against and again like anxiety. Know that if you are a feeler when focused, your feelings are more powerful. You're halfway to the middle in it, said a charming adult top student. He was happy no one had noticed his weaknesses. You're halfway to the middle in it, said a charming adult top student. He was happy no one had noticed his weaknesses. For the mind-probing part we have an alien, a master butt probber. He is harmless and useless really. Baron used to do it proficiently and professionally. It's about analyzing your brain, he said in an Irish accent. When it was James' turn he felt nothing at first. He was having some strange thoughts. Do you feel anything strange? Said Ignatius. It's the unusual things you need to remove. Focus on it like an idea and remove it like you could flush it away with a spell. More strangeness came in waves and soon James spent going back and forth. When faced with powerful illusion you want to counterspell. Albuquerque squash fries and go backwards as you thought they had gone in your mind. He looked at the class. What the creator of the spell gets to name it. Remember class, we won't tolerate any use of Psychosis Lotus here. You will get kicked out of the dormitory and spanked with a dire baguette 750 times. What's Lotus Psychosis? Said James like a main character to his classmates. It's a drug that ruins your personality into a zombie and claims the souls of someone you never knew. Eventually you are a zombie, parched and dry, desperate for water. It's a problem on Ahenja. Maybe one should be careful criminalizing new drugs. You sound like an idiot. No, I just believe in decriminalization to reduce crime, like an officer. James would learn to turn himself into a rabbit, the ultimate vegan spell, in transmog class through top skill and solitude, unwavering intelligence. You must learn of animals through your heart, no thinking, feel what you need to feel. Said a fat but short purple-dressed senior wizard. Like a toad, she wasn't pretty but had have people confidence in her conservativeness. She made everyone play fair and could implement any magical system, giving order indeed while doing so. When transforming you must feel as an animal. When you feel the energy around you, you find a balance, use the balance to make the magic do what you want. James read through the many pages and details to the advanced magic. Before the teacher was done, he read lightning quick and poof asterisk turned himself into a black rabbit a meter long on his first attempt. Are you saying I'm not fast enough, James? Outstanding move. James went around the room at far from maximum speed, feeling inferior from the James went around the room at far from maximum James read through the many pages and details to the advanced magic. Before the teacher was done, he read lightning quick and poof asterisk turned himself into a black rabbit a meter long on his first attempt. Are you saying I'm not fast enough, James? Outstanding move. James went around the room at far from maximum speed, feeling inferior from the short height. The genius prodigy Nigel learning University at 13 went to pet him. You get this without effort, James said in a sexy deep rabbit voice. Honestly, I feel I miss a lot of information from school, even if easy. He felt proud over his life like an adult. Transforming and trying to take mana, but not staying as an animal. Nigel puffed into a white rabbit, he shrunk like a machine. He jumped to James, they laid next to each other in different directions and flopped. In the end, half the class succeeded. Nigel's older sister indeed turned into the nicest alligator. Next we will learn to inhabit strength and properties despite being a smaller animal. Some will always be lost. One thing James did as a rabbit was discovering the grounds, magically warmer and green some places. Other animals understood him, but without speech it was limited. He exited the purple antioxidant beet bushes and saw Ekberg's delicacy store and Ekberg picnicking with his wife. Visibly he jumped to the parasol, thinking not to transform into a human. Wow, what a big cute rabbit, said Ekberg. He was baldening but still had a thick grey moustache down to his chin 2 ways and the energy of his 50s. James flopped, breathed quickly through his nose. Do you want some of these dark chocolate-covered marshmallows with frozen raspberries? They're out of our stock now. Om nom nom. James thought it would be funny to jump over their stomach again, and it was very bunny-like. We're drinking some celebrity-sweetened and aroma-infused wine. James popped into bodybuilding form, wearing an forearmless black and 20% white suit, striped and striped shirt, and logically matching pants. Do you have any port? Berkeley hamster, you like bodybuilding? I can barely use the dwarven exercise machine my wife bought for me. You should train your entire body at once in it, she said, making you expect her to say anything more. Those machines are pretty boring, honesty, James said unexpectedly and kind of like wheezing. Sorry, I thought you were a stupid rabbit, said the wifey vaguely. I have port fitting of Port Salut, he said and expertly exited. Our income is so erratic owning a shop, but we get a consistent amount of wizards. Looks like you're the closest to the university. Enter Port Edo 1104 with 2 expensive wine glasses and slices of cheese. I can thank you by inspecting your shop maybe. Do you have any stunning, mind-blowing cheese? I don't have any fat percentages, but I'm a gourmand. A gourmand makes you unhappy most of the time. You're looking for new things. You don't have to, but sure, Mr. Student. James left buying 6 boxes of marshmallow dark chocolate 70% off and a half wheel of green pesto peanut black olive cheese that flavor-wise actually made complete sense. As James left in the university horizon, the man exclaimed to his wife, "That boy is crazy for buying half a wheel of cheese. What is he going to do with that?" It was a big half wheel. How much money did you make? Even in the night, James explored vegetation and other animals. Other rabbits were friendly and could have been other students. Enter magical history. James sat down with wizards and creatures of every kind of ear, nose and cheekbone. The first dwarf was Magellan Blackbane. He was short, shorter than short, with a flat head and cloven black beard that was long enough to go to his knees.
You know what, at that end, at that point, at that stop, I think we're going to stop. Let's write some more university lessons later. More music, and then more Harry Potter. Maybe not more Harry Potter. Psychically, I can feel somebody, not in chat, but they recorded the book with a recorder, and we're gonna claim they wrote this themselves, and it made you guys think already more like, you really write this? Screw that guy. I've had one more Stealer before also. Be careful to who you... Remember, please don't report me for having streaming weird hours. It's a bad sleep schedule. As long as I get 7 hours of sleep, I'm happy. Well, whenever I get up, I'll sleep better soon, I think. So you get up at 7, maybe. I probably need to go to sleep before like 5 a.m. though, not later than that, because that my brain like the specific things while sleeping at those hours after exercising. I want to get smarter, you know. What's up with sugar? My brain is telling me. Is that talking too much? Well, I can easily stop that. I bought some more. I got some. I made some more food. You will. Need more protein too. I feel protein hungry. Honestly, I can keep going with agility grind. Please allow me to do that. You will. No, I told one person not to report before. It didn't make any sense. Of course I'm gonna argue. I don't want to get reported. It didn't make any sense. Listen to logic. I knew my life would change if I start playing old school RuneScape again. It's very different than, well, it was card games, it was roguelike games, and it was RuneScape 3. Like, people are reporting me, I can tell, as kind of, it's like, he's too weird, he's doing things at the wrong hours. That's just offensive, man. They're not tolerating me being myself. Honestly. Yes, it's true. Gamers support gamers staying up weird hours, man. You know, I wanted another one. This one's only medium. Maybe I should talk more about the book. Yeah, no, I'm just switching like I'm insane. Yeah, technically correct, grammatically. But I don't know what was I supposed to say about the book. I started writing a book. Fantasy is easy to write for me. I got some things down very right, but it very feels like I have like a top perspective. I know just how a fight is supposed to be. I know what makes other fantasy books good and fantasy movies good. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. I guess I do have some. I'm gonna have to make a protein shake anyway soon. Yeah, it's not very much pro. It's just like 5 pieces of chicken here anyway. It's just 200, 350 grams of food. Whoops. Well, it's just usually talking, honestly. It's been the longest time I've ever grind agility, actually. When it comes to rice, I think only just like black and red healthy rice is just a little bit healthy. It's not like eating broccoli or anything, or broccoli sprouts is even healthier, but broccoli sprout powder, that's one of the healthiest you can eat, and I eat that. Sulforaphane, which is the world's best at some things. Wish you could make more people eat it. Broccoli powder, broccoli sprout powder, buy that, chat. It even cures autism 50%, it's that healthy. You want me to source that too? Maybe I should. I've done it several times. It takes away bad symptoms and keeps good stuff. Remember when I said if things are getting too intense, just leave, don't just sit there and get more upset. I have autism, Asperger's, for example, high functioning, very smart, and so on. The smartest people with Asperger's or autism, and I'm a little bit tired now, actually, and it's just been unbelievable experiencing. I love this fucking band, man. When it sounds like this. The raw broccoli is better. Spouts are better. Antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, supports natural detoxification process, best in the world. Anti-cancer, diabetes, preventing sometimes improving certain symptoms of autism. It feels like turning into a different person. Definitely, I am much easier sometimes speaking and speak at length, and I'm handling things that change. And I don't do very many things that are the same and repetitive. Still won't feel like I want to do it less now. And that's this song. Maybe you could tell, huh? I don't have any disadvantages, just a bunch of benefits. I like having my Asperger's diagnosis. If I want to, it can go away pretty much as well. I tried to eat all the sulfur, I think it's incredible. It grows your brain and grows nerve cells, and like I said, it's one of the most healthy things possible you can eat. And I recommend it to everybody. It's the reasons that vegetarians live longer. Someone wants to hurt me spiritually now. And instead of doing that, leave, you know? God damn it. Why are you... I can feel you being upset. Like I'm saying the wrong things every other sentence. It's too much. Besides, I'm gonna keep doing agility, you know? Don't... I can easily protect myself as well. Anyway. Yeah, I hate it when I'm using my defensive spell techniques and I detect black magic, you know? That's one of the... It's the right time to say. One of the worst things about humanity, I realize, is so many people are busy being like corrupted in a state, delving into bad moral places. They seem, just because their parents were like, seem concerned with turning people into some kind of slave, feeding off their brains and energy. Somebody obedient, somebody weak, someone hurt in a specific way, so they don't respond well to trying to be free. This is very, very, very common. If you don't understand what I mean, then maybe it's terrible, and it's basically evil people who prey on other people. That's where it comes from, I realize. And I'm so disappointed whenever I see a normal person. I'm like, oh, they're going in, they're like corrupted, right? And they speak in I'm not one of these guys. I'm a victim, right? So, like a criminal trying to make people feel as awful as possible. Too, it's very similar. Ruining someone's time. Only the very good people seem to naturally not want to do this and are victims instead. You can see it how somebody is like taught how to limit their speech by their family. Just be a good boy, you know, like a slave. Okay, I'll delete the VOD now. But But it's still true, you know? Something is targeted. I guess they were here to sell products. So it was probably a scam. Remember to leave. L-tryptophan as amino acid. This poor guy probably gets tricked by capitalism into buying too much protein that he needs, huh? Right, chicken. Yeah, I just love some good jasmine rice and some sauce, you know, it's delicious. Do I have to say that I am a good person, a non-corrupting force, a harmonizing force? I get people out of these things, not into them. Alright, too weird, let's talk about the game talk about the game. Let's really that guy's dragon pickaxe. Damn, I love this band. Well, punish you for talking and speaking the truth, chat. I love speaking the truth as a genius, as an ENTP. Yeah, whatever, too weird, right? Yeah. Can you not handle the truth? I try to say this in a not arrogant way. I seem very different from other people, and other people who have autism Asperger's. I'm really something special. I haven't met that many people with Asperger's autism that are high intelligent and like, or like a physicist or like a mathematician or something typical like that, you know. I didn't meet them when they're stupid. But it's cool. Still have many friends like that, you know. It's just that, yeah, how do I say this right? It's like I keep expecting people to do. Oh, that's not good either. Um, I'm really turning too smart, maybe. Maybe not too. My doctor probably saying crazy. It's not very nice. You could have gotten another agility level by now, right? But no, and I'm going for 5 hours so far, and only cleared a third of a level. Holy shit! How did it jump from 9 hours to 15 hours? Doesn't make any sense. Why would make an agility course slower EXP? Ah, man. Well, when you're autistic, you feel like there's definitely unlimited things to do in RuneScape. You feel like loyal to the grind. Just like Verf, right? Uh, Maybe he doesn't realize he has autism yet. Anyway, it's like you're loyal to the grind, even if it hurts, you know. Supposed to have fun. You guys think I can get higher than this? I think I can. I'm going to try. Oh, so here's a hedgehog I discovered while running. And 10 seconds to got the camera, and they waited for the programs to. Yeah, you can hear that I'm running. There it is, you see it? Ah, there's that boy. That's the second time I'm filming a headshot while I'm running. That one was a kid eating a snail. Nom 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 nom. It didn't really care about us as long as there was a snail there. Yeah, when you have Asperger's, you're not any stupider because you have Asperger's. I mean, Asperger to Essence, it's a nice name of a city on. Bunny, Fortitious, formidable bunny from Asperger. That's like it's opium. I was looking like OCD throwing that in. You'll see this guy's been actually on the webcam. Actually, my stuff there doesn't get even clean when I clean it. Back. Oh no, I didn't know I was streaming to YouTube, I forgot. I can't stream to YouTube while playing music. Damn, I'm gonna get a strike now. Goodbye!